Welcome back, everyone, by the way. And today we're here with the wonderful multitask man Bandini. Yay! Um,
Thank
okay,
you.
okay.
Thank you.
Let's just paint a
On the right corner.
let's just paint a little picture about you, Banda.
Okay.
We know each other for a long time. We all
Yes.
know each other here for quite a long time. Uh, the thing is, you developed this thing that suddenly you started like studying acting, and then you connected the acting with your music, which was already a little bit theatrical and dramatic. So you started using your skills now, your new skills from acting, and bring it to the music, and vice versa. Plus, you dance and you write and you box. So you're becoming like this Bandini enterprise. Also, you're the guy that plays 16 gigs a week, which it's a bit it's not very common, right?
Not very healthy.
So I want you to tell us how you managed to aggregate this whole thing around you, and
Yes. Okay, so well, the first thing I want to say.
how did you build this Bandini, man? I mean,
Well, I was
some people might think it's a persona, but actually, this is actually you. I know you well. You're that guy every day, all the time.
Yeah,
You know,
pretty much.
and it's pretty impressive. I just want you to share a little bit with us.
I actually started as an actor. I started as an actor back in Milan, and I started as an actor before being a musician. I mean, like my music was just sorry. Let me just fix this mic situation. So, how are we doing with this?
The production here is not the best
Yeah.
one, right?
Right.
It's
Are
poor,
we good?
poor production, but it's
So,
okay.
so I started as an actor in Milan. So like and then the music came in where after the acting. I mean, I always been playing music, but like let's say professionally. So that's why everything that I do is always connected to movies or acting and theater. And obviously I'm a big fan of Waits, Zappa, and all of these guys. So so yeah. So that's the first thing. The second thing is like 16 gigs a week, man. You should ask this question also to Dom.
Sometimes it's more than that, right?
But you know what it is that you push a lot to. You have it depends. So in your head, you create like a little fantasy, you know, and your little fantasy in your head is like it will be great to be like a day-to-day musician. Like that's all you do. You play music every day, and then eventually, if you believe in that, that will happen, and then.
So the fantasy is bigger than the action, actually.
Yeah, but this is a fantasy because, like, you know, playing in pubs every day is not touring the world, like, you know. But you need to pay bills, and it's great. I do what I love, like, you know. I mean, like.
Also, it's like maybe it's better to practice and to play in a bar, even if you're not enjoying the gig 100%.
Much better
than to play by yourself at home.
Absolutely.
Right. So you're practicing at the same time.
Absolutely. That's the way that I think about it.
Yeah.
Every gig that I don't enjoy, I think is practice. Also, because I think there is nothing. You can't be a room musician. Like I am definitely not a room musician. I'm a hyperactive person.
A room,
which
roomie?
I mean, like someone to stay at home and plays
Oh,
on
right.
his
Okay,
own. Like,
sorry,
what
yeah.
I'm saying just that you need to go. I am absolutely the person that I'm more of a person to go out there and try out whatever it is than like practice and for hours. So for me, I just want to know what I'm doing and where I'm doing it, and then once I'm confident with that, everything else it needs to be done with an audience there. And if I fuck up when there is an audience there, I don't care.
So you keep trying stuff, and then whatever works, you keep, and you take to the next gig or take to the next play you're gonna put on, and then whatever doesn't work, you throw away, right? Maybe that's the best way to actually
I think it's the more
thrive as a musician. So you keep trying, because if you don't try, you'll never know, right?
that's it. And that's my
Like for example, people are scared of gray hair, right? And then you dye your hair gray sometimes to play gigs, and I'm like, Bandini, what the fuck? You're like, oh man, it's just for a change, otherwise I'll get
I
bored.
get so bored of myself, man. So it's like, what should we do today? Let's do something different. You know, the guys in my band hate me for this because every time that I go to a gig, that's a standard thing that I do. It's just like I will come and like in the afternoon, I will have an idea to just play a little bit different. just because it's, you know, it's just a bit different, you know. And I arrived and I was like, and everybody's ready to play their song. I was like, you know that song? Can we do this rhythm instead? It's like, why? And I'm like, just, you know, so it's a bit like something else. I do it all the time.
Right.
Or like I will say, oh guys, I'm gonna do a new tune today, and like, okay, and what do we do? Oh, it's just like a blues, no worries, just play along.
Oh my god.
That's fun, I guess. So you put those guys under tension as well, your
Yes.
bandmates.
These days a little less, but yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I remember that day in my village when you decided to play
New York State of Mind.
yeah, New York State of Mind by Billy Joel, and you told Cisco at the time, just follow along, it's fine. Starts in C and then it has a like key change that descends constantly. Poor guy was like, you said it was just like going to be a simple thing. Brilliant. I did like that moment.
Cisco never heard the songs in
No.
his life. It's just like, what the fuck is going on? Anyway, yeah.
So did you have fun in the festival, the last festival we put on here at the Camden Assembly?
Of course,
Yeah, that was like an evolution of you as well. Like if you think 3 years ago,
there is always an
you repeated a few things. You got topless again, like the Freddie Mercury syndrome, which is great. But the connection between you and your musicians, man, I have to say it's pretty impressive because it's so difficult. I see so many people trying to hold a band together, right? And they struggle a lot because people have their schedules. Obviously, not everyone is available all the time when you have a band, especially if you're playing like pubs where the money is not that good. Sometimes they're going to go to another gig, which you're going to pay a little bit more, right? But you have this power of aggregating people to your aura, which is amazing. Like you did a music video, like 100 people went there to film with you. Like you have this power of like attracting people like no one else that I know. Where does it come from? Is that the Italian vibe, the Italian family? Like, hey, let's cook together, and you know.
Could be. I always been like this. I always have a personality of a leading a group. Also, for me, it's very important that everything I do, I need to share it with someone else. Man, even the most simple thing, like if I'm doing the fight camp, the boxing fight camp that I did this morning, I have to tell you that I'm doing this. I need to share constantly everything that I do. Otherwise I just
you come. Sometimes you come to the bar here after boxing, and you have a black eye, and you just laugh with a Corona. Oh, I got punched on the face, like,
and people think that I just go out and fight people. You know, on that, I need to tell you, like, one of my favorite movie is like this 70s, 80s movie. I don't remember if it's the end of the 80s, from Sylvester Stallone. It's called Paradise Alley. There is Sylvester Stallone, Tom Waits, they played the piano. And the story is like, Sylvester Stallone is obviously a boxing coach. And there is this guy called King Salami, which is going to be and they all hang about in this very shitty bar in Paradise Alley, and where Tom Waits plays there for some reasons. And I watched that movie again recently, and I'm like, well, that's my life. That's I incorporate all of this in my life. It's like I play that music, I do boxing, and I do acting. Perfect. I am that movie.
right. That's good.
But what did you ask me for about the band? I think in a way the guys. I mean, like, I'm always grateful that I have great musician that plays with me. I always try to surround myself. All the musicians that I choose, they have like they need to have incredible skills in terms of like being like pretty much better than me as musicians. That's fundamental. So
they help you with arrangements and everything, like
much. Like the only one that does arrangement with me is Gigi. It's more about like the band needs to be like a very high level.
The bass player is always the guy. Normally in bands, the bass player, they're the ones, they're quite quiet, but when they say something, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Right, Enzo? Enzo knows that.
Yes.
Right.
But no, the only one that I've been working with him forever since the beginning is Luigi, and everybody changed. But I think the idea is just like, first they love to play with each other because they're very high level musicians, so they enjoy themselves a lot, and that's the first thing.
Also, your band. Sorry, just interrupting you. Like your band is always very international as well.
Yes.
You have like the French guy, the English, the Italian, the like people from everywhere in your band.
But that's London, really.
Yeah.
I don't choose
So
it.
each member of your band, they're not two people from the same country in your band. They're all like from different countries.
There was a moment where there was like 3 English
Which is
persons, and that was the moment where we have the most English people in the band, and 2 Italians. There was this moment, but then everything changed.
It became international.
Now two Italian, 1 Swiss, and 1 French.
But I know why you do this, because when the sister of the Swiss guy is gonna get married, you get paid to play a gig from the wedding, and then you
yes, exactly. You know,
you keep playing gigs all over the world because of the musicians. They take you to their country.
Let's go to this country.
Go to France in the countryside, eating grapes. You know, like yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, like that's I think that's, and also obviously I guess they like the songs, otherwise otherwise they wouldn't be here playing the music that I do, I guess. But I think that's, I don't know, I've always been an inclusive person. I always try to include, like, for me the more the merrier. Like is it creates is the theater concept, you know. You're a theater man as well. Like, you know, you grew up with the theater, and you know, like when there is a theater movies, like when there is a work, it is a collective work. There is much more enjoyment for me.
This is one thing that we've talked about in this podcast with other musicians too, which is people sometimes they're afraid of, like, you know, getting together and writing together and getting a band together. So we have all this singular, you know, musicians, like it's all islands. That's why we wrote that project for the Arts Council, thanks to the Arts Council we got granted, and we did all these recordings, the little film, the festival. The project's called Archipelago, which is a group of islands, right? So that was based in that idea that everybody's just, they have their work, they're best friends, but normally they don't mix. But I think people are mixing more than ever now, here inside of Spiritual and in Camden here, with the other bars as well. There's the Map Cafe, people come here, and then, you know, there's this little, people are mixing more than ever now, which is great. But you always had that, which is great. Like, I remember the first time you arrived here to play an open mic night. I never met you, so I was doing the sound downstairs for the open mic, and then you came in the room, like you already owned the room. You're like, hey, double whiskey, another one. And you kept coming to me, hey, when I'm playing, man, when I'm playing. I'm like, yeah, your name's on the list. Wait a little bit, 30 minutes to go. You're like, yeah, wait, no worries. And then you're friends with everyone. Suddenly you are running the room, like you became friends with everyone in 10 minutes. All these people, all these musicians in the room. Bandini was running the scene, you know. So that's the power you have of communicating, and, you know.
I had that over, yeah, but I think I guess in the same ways is you're not as dissimilar. Like, I mean, like you create this place. You look at a festival, the Spiritual Records Festival. Like, you know, there is a bunch of people that are really into a lot of musician and music and some writers, and they come here, and then they come to the festival, and people think it's a cult at some point or something. You remember that? And you create this, and and this is your work. So like you can
Wow, it's my work with everyone else.
Yeah, but that's exactly how I think. Every time that I don't know, I write a song or whatever I write or whatever I create in my head, it doesn't come alive or becomes anything, or I generally get really bored of it unless I'm playing it with someone or I'm creating it with someone else. So if I write a song, I need to play it with the band straight away. And also I have not the ability of the patience that Jack have to like create, like, you know, produce a song and produce all of these layers of sound. Also, I always hated it. Like, it's just something that it doesn't stick with me. I'm very bad with technology and anything that I have to do with it. I'm very practical.
Yeah.
So like, you know, like and again, I guess it goes back to all of that idea of like theater and being hyperactive.
I feel like as a thing though, Bandini as a band is much bigger than just like what you do, and you know. Oh, don't worry. So yeah, I mean like Bandini as a band, obviously it is you, but just the fact that you have all these people around you is kind of like what makes like it's kind of a lot more of a collective thing.
Yeah.
But obviously you run it. Well, you and Gigi run it.
It's like, yeah. Bless Gijo. It's like I'm running. It's like I'm running a little circus, I guess. You know, that's the way that I see it.
Yeah.
The circus that comes to town is and you know, and don't get me wrong, I really enjoy like my intimate song and my ballads, and I enjoy the moments of like, you know, for a moment I'll tell you a little story at the piano. But like that's just, you know, a part of.
But everyone's personality in that band makes up
exactly
what Bandini is as an entity.
Otherwise, it doesn't work. Yeah.
I've always liked the fact that you always have all these musicians around you because, as you said, I do really kind of just work on that sort of idea of being an island. And it's like, it's fine, but it's like, you know, you kind of have to think of yourself as being like, okay, today I'm a piano player, today I'm a bass player. Whereas I feel like you actually just managed to find people that kind of understand what Bandini is as a band and just managed to get all these people together.
I think it's just a very different way to deal with music or creativity. Because I can't absolutely do what you do. And I don't see, you know, you just said it. You said like, today I'm a piano player, today I'm a bass player.
But you're a very multi-layered man as well.
Yes.
And I feel like everyone in your band is like a piece of your personality.
Exactly. But
one of your many alter egos.
Like, it's just a different way to work. In my head, it's just like I have an idea. And I know what I can provide, but I know that I need these other people to make it. Honestly, it sounds like I should have been a movie director and I ended up to be a musician. Like,
well, it's something you do as well.
It's kind of like that. I see it that way, and I see it like this is the idea. When I think about an album, I think about it's like I'm doing a movie. It's like, what is this movie about? You know, and then things come in. It's like, so what do you need? And how the people need to understand the music also, because, you know, something that I'm finding very, 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 very funny. I'm asking like around to find like a lot of like PR or people that want to do reviews for this. The amount of people that they email me back, be like, the music is great. We have no idea what to do with this material. Like everybody. And I'm actually proud of it. I'm like, cool. Nobody does what I do. Amazing. Great. I don't care. Like, I don't need reviews then. I'm great. I'm very happy that this doesn't exist. You know, like it's okay.
But that also is when you're doing that whole sort of PR thing of when you've just made an album, you send it off to people and you want to be like, kind of want it to be seen as a piece of art that can fit into a space.
Yeah.
That's probably a problem that a lot of people here have, but you have as well, especially, is when you're so like influenced by so many types of music.
True.
There's moments where you could say that Bandini has almost the makings of a rock band, right? Or funk, or jazz, or soul. Like, but when you're doing so many of these things, that's why, you know, it's hard to kind of box it. And I think that's
the same time you never get bored because you don't sound the same every song, right?
Yeah, that's also this. And
each song has a little color, a little shape, right?
That's the idea. Is just, I guess, the master of doing this was Zappa. You know it because you're a massive fan of it, of him. So like, but like, you know, Zappa did any sort of kind of music. He's the guy that say, I might be moving to Montana soon. The fuck, man? Like, don't eat the yellow snow. What's happening?
Yeah, I guess it's this kind of music's hard. I mean, Zappa's music is hard to understand and digest. I think people struggle to digest Zappa. So when the bar is very busy and we have to close the bar, normally put Zappa very loud.
I love it.
People go home.
For me, it's the best time.
and then somebody asked him, "What do you want with your music?" He's like, "I just want to make people vomit."
Yeah.
But and then that piano, I just want to go back to the piano story because are you classical trained?
Absolutely not.
So you did not study piano when you were a kid, like?
No, I studied piano in London.
Yeah. How long have you been playing? How long have you actually been playing?
8 years ago.
Yeah, we met 5 years ago, and you could play already. But now you like, you got together with Joe Mack as well, with this piano masters. You're learning with these guys. Now your piano is starting to sound like, you know,
starting to sound like a piano.
to go up and sounding amazing, man. Like,
think of the best.
Well done. I guess you've worked hard on that, like hours a day, right? Practicing, or playing just 15,000 gigs a week.
Now, at the beginning, it was a lot of like room practice, like constantly. I would play the piano for hours and hours, but like I always have a different commitment. I wasn't like, I need to play this piano to sound like that. I was like, it was very functional. It was more like, I need to be able to play these instruments so I can perform the songs that I have in my head. Yeah. And then it became more of a thing of like, wanted to be very, very, very good. And then I guess the best way to do this is just to find crazy players that you find around London, like Joe, and ask them. And like when I saw Joe playing, I was like, I want to play like that. Is probably my favorite piano player that is in London. Like,
I had a similar reaction as well.
Is like, this is exactly how I want to play. Yeah, I guess, man.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much gospel in him. And then I asked him, just like, can I just have lesson with you? And the things that I learned with Joe,
it's amazing that some guys get to that level, right? Yeah.
No, man, he's insane. The level that he does, Joe, and how he can. Because he does all the things that I love, because he does the blues, then he does the gospel, and then he brings in the Latin. I'm like, that's my three things. Like, by the way, if people are listening don't know him, I'm talking about Joe Mack.
So what are you saying about having lessons with him? Sorry.
It's just what you learn. You learn a lot. You know, I think I learned much more to taking lesson with someone that is playing already, and he's not a teacher, he's a player, and he knows what I want, because I want what he does. So he knows exactly. It's like, listen to these songs, listen to this player, and this is how you manage to do this and that. He's not there to tell me where my finger should, obviously it does, but where my finger should go is more like,
he's like, do this.
Yeah, and it's like, the sound that you're looking for is here, and there is much more. Or even like working a lot, I think with like certain kind of music, that definitely my kind of music is like understanding the rhythm and the breathe of your instrument, which is something that I'm enjoying much more at the moment, that just to relax and have this rhythm and then start playing, which at the beginning you're just fucking bashing everything. Well, like, you know, when you start to be more perfect, there is a rhythm into the music and you want to stick into the rhythm and stuff. These things you don't learn it at school, you learn it playing it
on the streets.
And the other player, it doesn't tell you how to do it. Just like, listen, this is how I do it. You can watch me and try to do it. You know, and it's much better. It's on the street. I learn everything from the street, like you.
Love the fact this always comes up.
Yes.
But I guess also a massive thing that teachers, or maybe we were talking about it earlier, a massive thing that is really useful as a musician, as you say, learning on the street, is actually just being put in a position where you're under pressure and you have to play. Like what you were doing at One Night Records.
Absolutely. That was like terrifying. Yeah. But after that was
good school. Yeah,
that was a nightmare for me. It was on when
that gig was great.
When Tommy said that, I asked him for 100 times. He's like, "Are you sure you want me to do this?" He's like, "Yeah. You kind of be one of the main guys." And then I became like resident artist, and I have an interview and all of that. And there is crazy players in that.
Who are you playing with? I know you had Joe Mack.
Joe Mack. It was Don Pimkin, which is one of the absolute masters of like New Orleans. It's insane.
Yeah,
like, you can't even. Like, Cody Lee, which is like a Jerry Lee Lewis on the West End. I'm like, man, what are we talking about? You know, and then there is me, and then but that is like, but you know, I work so well with this. I work so well under pressure.
Yeah.
Like under pressure is where I thrive.
But you have some stuff that those people don't have.
Exactly.
Which is like the performer, the Bandini. You come here, come with me, dance with me.
At the beginning, I didn't like you. I know, but I was like, how do I do this? And I think it's the pressure. Just like you so under pressure, you're like, how do I get out of this? How do I make the best out of this? And it's like, there's no point for me to dueling with these pianists. What I can do, I can make the crowd goes wild.
Yeah.
And then you start, but then like these things then help you, because I have to learn so many tunes, and obviously for like to be able to play them. And
did you have sheet music in front of you? Or you were just going
Yeah,
Going for it. Nice.
Just learn it. And every time they tell you the keys, so hopefully you know the key well.
Mm.
Mostly there was no like G sharp and weird things there.
Yeah.
But I think the other thing is like after One Night Records is when all the other gigs kicked in. One Night Records actually changed my career as a piano player in London. After One Night Records, I started having so many requests. I started playing the blues bars, started playing everywhere around London. And
I didn't notice a shift in your piano playing after that.
Yes.
And noticeable, like, oh my God, you've gotten so much better in such a short amount of time. But that's what happens when you have to, you know...
do it.
Yeah, it's just there. There's no other option.
solutions.
Yeah.
You either do this or do this. Yeah.
Do you remember when you worked behind the bar here? That was fun. I remember you like, because you're performing behind the bar as well. Bartenders, that's to, you know, make drinks, have a chat with the customer. But you're like, hey, who is next?
entertaining
Nobody was waiting like, who is next? Come next. Who is... You're like, even behind the bar, you're trying to be the performer that Bandini. So that's why I say that you're so natural. And people might think, oh, he's bluffing a little bit. He's not that. No. He's not that guy. But once you get close to you actually like that, like out of the stage. Like, you're all the time the entertainer, right? Yeah. And you're big laugh and everybody laughs with you. It's pretty interesting, Bandini.
If I remember correctly, I remember when you were there, you came in and immediately wanted to test how to make an espresso martini, apparently.
No,
really, you just wanted an espresso
martini. I didn't want to test anything. I woke in at 5 p.m. was like, before we start, have an espresso martini, and then we start. And then Russell was like, no. And I was just like, well, that don't work then.
Shit. But well, now that you mentioned alcohol, we I guess we musicians, people working with music and stuff, running a bar, you're always surrounded by alcohol, right? Yeah. That's a bit fucked up, isn't it?
I mean, like, look, I love drinking and I love smoking, and all my songs talk about drinking and smoking, which is becoming a little boring.
You need to have a baby and then write songs about babies.
But like, you know, recently, like, thank you for the boxing. I actually think, like, obviously I got back into boxing because I love the sport, but like the more that I started doing, like, the reason why I went down like so intensely with it is just because I know that it was the only way to stop drinking and smoking. And now I still drink and smoke, but like it's more controlled. But man, like, you can't. I think it's also the way that you drink. Because that's the problem. Because, you know, when you, I don't know, like if you, but you know it. When you are in Brazil, you tell me all the time. When you are in Brazil, you go like, you know, I never drink here. I always go for a.
It's a different lifestyle.
It's a different
outdoor,
lifestyle.
Beach, da da da.
When I'm in Italy, like, I don't get wasted like I do here. Yeah. I will definitely drink. But I'm always eating. I'm always outside. I'm you know, there's always a conversation going on. There is always something. And it's not like let's get shots and everything. When you out and you playing these gigs and everything, well, like, you know, if you're on, like, it could be like you have one, 2 beers. As soon as there's someone walk in and goes like, let me offer you a shot, then it's done. Then it's done. I finish my gig at 10, and I'm coming here, Spiritual Bar. I'm having other 4 shots. We're having a Corona party. Goodbye.
Tomorrow, death. Next day, death. Yeah, right.
Smoke a pack. Sure. We go to the Dublin Castle.
And another thing about you, or anyone that comes out of England, comes to London to try to be a musician, right? I'm gonna build my career in London, and there are loads of people coming from all over Europe and all over the world to study here in music schools, and then try to jump into the scene in England, in London, especially. So one thing that I'm Brazilian, so I write songs in Portuguese, but I never felt comfortable writing in English, and not even singing in English, because for me it doesn't really click. It doesn't make much sense. Even if I've been here for a long time, it doesn't make sense. So I think, I mean, the way you've been writing songs, it's pretty impressive, because it's like twice harder, or maybe 10 times harder for you to write a song and deliver a song in English than a person from here, obviously, right? Yeah. To write in Italian, for you, it's pretty easy. It's easier, but that's a tough job, right?
You just said it, like, But well, I guess there is a couple of things to say here. Like well, first, like thanks to globalization, we all grew up with listening to English and American music. So I always have bands, but I was singing in English. I also have bands, but I was singing in gibberish because I was in Italy. Nobody knew what I was singing, so I was like, I'm just gonna sing some gibberish. Who knows? I did it even recently with a band. We needed an extra song, and we played this New Orleans tune called Big Chief. I didn't remember the lyrics, and I said something like, "We're going down to Boulachon. We're gonna get a big salmon."
Like that song that you say, a big cigarette.
A big cigarette. Yeah. So, but
and then you have all these friends that you can always ask your friends as well to help a little bit here and there.
I think the best with the lyrics is really reading other people's lyrics, which is a mistake in, like, it can be a mistake in some ways, because on my previous album, there is certain lyrics that are a bit dated, and now that I'm more aware of what I'm doing with the lyrics, I know why I put it there, because there was, like, you know, the Tom Waits influence and the 70s influence. There is certain sentence that you take and you put it there, you know. Well, but that's already helping. I think you just need to think different. You once you start writing in another language, you can't think in your own language, because that makes sense. You can decide to do that. Sometimes I do it, but that's a decision that I do on purpose. On purpose is like, this sentence would make no sense in English, but I want to do this because this is who I am. But you can't do it the whole song, otherwise, you know.
Yeah.
When we were doing Everything Must Go,
yeah,
and there was that line on the end of the chorus, and I can't remember what it was, but it was hanging with my crooked old friend.
Yeah.
And I was like, I recorded it a few times with you, and I was like, do you know, I don't actually think that makes sense. I don't even think that's a word. But we kept it anyway, because sometimes it's just like, it just sounds like...
What about English man with a language complex, speaking Russian with an Italian accent?
Okay, I'm gonna tell. I need to.
You made a lot of people angry when you wrote that song.
Okay, I need to explain his lyric now, all right? Because too many people ask me. But some people love it, some people get angry. So I'm not talking about anyone. Actually, I'm talking about someone in specific. But like, so I was doing this. I was doing some extra work on this movie set, and you know, you have this. But these people is not like, it's just because the guy was English. You have those people everywhere. Obviously, I live here, so I found them here. And you have this guy, he comes to me and he goes like, "Oh, where are you from?" And I'm like, I'm Italian. We're just like, I speak a little bit of Italian, bonjour. I'm like, well, that's French. you know? And then he started like, I think so that was like Englishman with a language complex. Talking Italian with a Russian accent. It's just because then he started doing this weird thing of like, he was trying to talk in Italian, but in English at the same time, and wanted to sound in Italian, but instead he sounded Russian. So like Gaga Gucci film, so you know, it was like, I need to. Like, the Hollywood Motel talks about being an extra on a movie, and it was like, well, that's a character, you know. So that's why.
Well,
we all cross these people, like, you know. It's a funny thing, because you're in London, you have people from everywhere, and then, where are you from? I'm from Brazil, and then they go like Bunda Grande, and I was like, Bunda Grande means big ass. And I'm like, why are you saying?
Why? Man, this thing I don't get it. Like, can you imagine someone goes around just like, "Are you English? Yeah, pint." Why?
But it's fun. It's so fun. It's life. People are interested, you know. People want to, you know.
No, I know it's a thing. Like,
but that line, I love that line, man. It's just because the way you write, you can picture stuff, you can see stuff going on. It's like a little piece. It's like a little play, right? Theater play.
Yeah.
And that's what you do with your music, which is great, and that's why a lot of people love you, and everybody wants you to play in that venue in London now. So you don't even play Spiritual Bar anymore. Like, play once a month now.
I'm sorry about it, but thank you for releasing the album.
Oh yeah, the album's coming out. Yeah.
Yeah.
What day?
9th of what day you're releasing it?
Yeah. But
I released so many albums. I know.
The 9th
of November, we're doing
it's coming out soon. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're doing a gig with Jack Troubadour, which is opening the gig.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Where's the gig again?
Piano Smithfield.
Piano Smithfield.
We're doing it with you.
Great venue, right?
Yeah.
Very nice.
We're doing your friend Ray Jones from Talent Bank.
Ray Jones.
Very excited.
I love Ray Jones. I was trying to get Ray Jones to be interviewed here.
It'd be amazing to have him.
Ray Jones has been moving a lot of musical energy in London as well. It's
Man,
impressive.
Ray is a great guy.
Ray's amazing.
He's a great guy.
Big kiss to you, Ray.
Yeah. Big love, Ray. Ray always.
If I was a woman, I would marry Ray Jones, actually.
Apparently.
if he wanted me, obviously. Bandini, man, I've been thinking about something you told me a few days ago. Because one day you came to play a gig here and you were so calm. And after boxing, right? Yeah. And I was like, Bandini, what's going on with you? You had no energy. I mean, you had energy, but you're just normal. And normally very hyper. You're always like, rah. But that day you're like, I'm like, Bandini's sick, maybe he has the flu. Maybe he has the flu or something. And then I was like, what's going on? I kept asking you and you're like, oh, Raf, it's just because I came from boxing. I released all my energy. Now I'm very calm. I'm normal. I'm going to play a gig very calm. And then you told me that story that you used to go to theater. You used to go to theater lessons in Italy. And then you always arrive like very hype. And your teacher one day grabs you, put you on the side and say, listen here, Alessandro. Every time you come to my class, you run a marathon before you come to my class. So waste all your energy and then you come in and do because you have too much, man.
I need to tell you this. Man, this is one of the greatest lessons one of the first and greatest lesson I had in my life. My teacher, Mino Manni, is a great guy and theater director. And at the time, he asked me to be in his play. So he was my teacher, and then eventually I'm in his play. So it was the first play I ever done in my life. And it was a big thing, you know. Like it's just like is his play. It's like you asking me to play in your stage. And I was, you know, when you have too much energy, you end up doing so much, so you need to do a scene, and you just need to talk, and you do all of this, because you do like a little move, and you fucking, it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? So like he came to me and say, stop fucking up with my stage. Stop fucking up with my stage. He goes like, every time you come here, you do a marathon of 10K, and then you come and perform. And since then, I realized that is an absolute truth. For any hyperactive out there, boxing is great for me because as Vincent told me, just like, man, when we do a gig you did boxing, you're not like weird or like loose, you're just normal.
But I guess it's a good thing. It's better to have more energy
and bring it down.
Than to be low Anyway, that's a great story. Bandini, Alessandro, it was a pleasure to have you here. Di Comiato, right?
Yeah, Cominato.
Alessandro Cominato.
Yes.
What a nice name. Anyway, thank you very much, Banda, for taking your time to come here and see us. And I'll see you very soon, brother.
Yes. See you soon. I love you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.